guys, welcome to our hula header make. I'm just going to run you through the fabric that we're going to use for this. Very simple, just two different fabrics and a straps for the insides, and that's all we're going to do on this costume. So it's pretty simple. So I'm just going to run you through the fabric now. For our hula headers costume, we are going to work with a white poly cotton and a stripy fabric. Now this one is just a green and white stripe, but the stuff that you'll be receiving is a multicolour stripe, and I think the stripes are much larger and much wider than the ones that I have here. So your poly cotton is going to be cut into a circle, and your stripy fabric is going to be cut into 4-meter lengths that you will then split in half down the middle. So I'm just going to show you how to do those two things, and then we will assemble. These are really quite a simple assembly. Well, I think so anyway. So there's not very much involved apart from adding the stripes to the circle and adding some straps. So anyway, we'll get started. So to start with your white poly cotton, you'll receive this on a roll. I don't know if you will be making 12 or if you'll be making half that number. So we've been splitting these costumes up between different people. So it doesn't matter, you'll get the right amount of fabric for the amount of costumes that you're making. And what I've done here is made a circle that is the width of the fabric, which is 114 centimetres. So a little over a metre circle. And I'll give you a pattern for that to save you from trying to wrestle with fabric and create circles by folding, which is what I did, but I'll make you a pattern for that. So it's literally just a circle with a circle cut out of the middle, which will be the head. So you can cut those out. There it is there. You can cut those out and you can put them to one side. We're not going to do anything on those until we're ready to put our stripy fabric onto them. So no hemming or anything yet. So you'll get your stripy fabric. You need 4 meters to go around the circumference of that white circle. So, well, a little shy of 4 meters, but we'll stick with 4 so that you don't go wrong. So the first thing you're going to do is cut your fabric into a 4-meter length. So I actually need to sew mine together because mine is only 2 meters, but I'm only making one, so I can add them together. So a 4 meter length will do 2 costumes because we're only using half the width. So I hope that makes sense. So if you've got your 4-meter length and you're going to split it down the middle, and you've got two pieces. But before we do that, I want you to take off a big long skinny strip from each side. So roughly about that size. This isn't doesn't have to be exact. I'd say that's about 2.5 inches. You can even count your stripes or whatever, like go in 2 or 3 stripes. This is to create a hem on the outside of our poly cotton circle. So what it literally would just be making this into a channel like that. It'll be folding it. So like that has to fit a fibre rod that's 5 millimeters in diameter. So as long as you're able to get that into it, it doesn't need to be massive. So 2.5, 3 inches, give or take, whatever you feel comfortable with doing. So just cut a little nick in your fabric and just rip it down all the way to the end. So you have a really long skinny strip. As I said, that's only 2 meters for me, but yours will be 4 meters. And then do the same on the other side. Pick the one with the finished edge, and don't take them both from this side, only because when you rip that it gets kind of wiggly, as you can see there. So cut your second little strip and rip that one off. So once you have your 2 strips done, put them to one side and then find the center of your fabric. So just by folding it over, oh there's the center, cut a little nick in that and rip that down, and you'll have a big wide 4-meter strip of fabric for putting around the outside of our poly cotton circle. So I'm just going to get them organized and I'll show you them all together on the table. There's my 4 meters of half fabric and my 4 meters of little edging fabric. and my polycotton all there together. So I've actually gone ahead and hemmed one side of the wider fabric, which will essentially become the bottom of our costume. So you can do that, and I just did a zigzag, one single fold and a zigzag stitch, and I've just picked one of the sides to do that. The other side is raw. The next thing we're going to do is open out our polycotton circle, and we're going to add this skinny strip on as a hem on the edge. So I've just started pinning that down. I don't think you would need to pin it down, but obviously if you are not that confident, you could pin that all the way around if you wish. But I think once you get started, if you get a couple of pins at the beginning, I think once you get going, you'll be able to just manipulate that through the machine pretty easily. That would be my take on it anyway. I always find pinning things takes a really long time, so I'd rather just get it into the machine and go with it. So yeah, challenge yourself, see how you get on. Yeah, so you're just going to run that all the way around to meet the other side. That is my hem added on now to the outside. It's just a single stitch. I've left enough, kind of like a finger width is really what you need to get the fibre rod in there. So that's all you need. I stayed very close to the edges. You can even come in a bit if you like. I just want to find, yeah, so you're going to get these like this kind of ripple effect and maybe some little puckers as you go, which is pretty unavoidable, and that is entirely acceptable. At some points it's going to sew really easily, and then you'll get to a point where maybe you might even have to put a little fold on it to get you back in rhythm again. So that's totally fine. And when you get to the end, just stop them right beside each other. So don't overlap them. Leave them just touching each other like that, because we need the space there to get the fibre rod in and pop it out the other side. So just keep them open like that. So the next thing we're going to do is add on our sides. So I have them all folded up here. So basically the way that you've just added on your hem, you're going to add the sides the exact same way. So you're literally going to run right beside the stitch that you've already done. And this time, okay, I just need to set the video up and show you that. So here's our sides. So your hem is going to the bottom. So you're going to be sewing the raw side onto this hem. So if you imagine this is the top of your costume, so you want your nice stripy green to be coming this way. So you have to remember that when you're putting that on, that is the outside. So you would make sure to put your fabric on with your green, your brighter side, sorry, I'm not using green, with your brighter side out. So essentially you will be sewing the duller side of this fabric. So you're just going to pop that on there and sew that like you just did. Alright, so it also gives an added strength to what's already sewn there, and you run that all the way around, so that when that's done and that folds down, you get your nice hemmed edge, and then you get your nice fabric with your hem at the bottom there as well. Okay, so I'm just going to run that through the machine and show you that when that is done. So I'm just going to show you there again, just to be sure. So exactly as we've just put the hem on, we're putting our sides fabric on. So the good side, the bright side, is down, and we're sewing the dull side, and we're just going to sew that pretty much on the same line. So we've got this edges are matched up there, and we're just going to run that through. So if you keep it with your edges, you won't go too far wrong. So now there's my fabric going through the machine. So I've already done a little bit already, and that is it on the outside, with the little hem sticking out and then the sides coming out from underneath it. So it's going to feel a bit like you're sewing blind, because you can't see what you're sewing to, but you'll feel it because you've already put 3 layers of fabric underneath. So as long as you can feel this fabric as you're sending it through, you shouldn't really go wrong, and you just keep an eye on those edges that they're fairly well matched up, and you should be fine. Obviously you can pin it as well, that's entirely up to you. If that makes it easier for you, then go for it. So there I am back at the start again. So I left a little bit of extra that I didn't sew just because it's a wee bit handier for finishing off that edge. So once I've got back to where I've started, I'll just cut a little nick there and then rip that down, and then sew these two together, which will be down the side of the costume. That is the down the side done there now. So the two pieces are joined together. So I just did a straight line stitch all the way down, and then I trimmed the fabric close to the stitch, and then I ran a zigzag up just to stop loads of threads from popping out. So I just did that after. And so once you turn that around, you'll see your little channel that your fibre rod has gone into, and your nice stripes going all the way around. So once we've gone that far, we're almost finished. We just have to put some straps from the inside, so we can attach them to a hula hoop, which is going to be inside this costume for the performer to hold on to so they can spin around. With your fabric laid out on the table, I want you now to find 4 points at which we can attach our straps. So it'll be like a 12 o'clock, a 6 o'clock, a 3 o'clock, a 9 o'clock. So they only have to be fairly rough. They just need to be, you know, at a guess, the four quarters, I suppose. So I just folded it in half like that, and I put a pin here, and then a pin on the opposite side, you'll see there. And then I would just guess, instead of folding it again, I would just guess that the middle will be roughly here. So I'll just pop another little pin in that. And then we're going to sew our straps to those 4 little points. And I'll tell you the measurement for the straps shortly, just when I figure that out. So I just decided to put the fibre rod into this one, just so I could assess where your hands would lie on the inside to hold on to a hula hoop. And I think I'm just used to making these a whole lot bigger than this. So actually we don't even need a hula hoop on the inside. There we go, down to the edges there. So what we are going to do is put a couple of straps in, and we're going to put them at near the front, so that like you can comfortably reach out and grab these edges. You comfortably grab these edges here. So we're just going to put 2 little straps on the inside that they can hold on to, so that they can kind of manipulate this this costume and spin around without it kind of being a bit out of control. So yeah, so we're going to abandon our hula hoops and just going to put 2 little straps in instead of 4. There's the 2 straps there that I've just cut. Yours will be white, mine is black, so they're just about 2 feet long or thereabouts. They're probably too long, but that's totally fine as well. So you're just going to pick 2 points. Obviously, if you have your sewn edges together at the back where your fibre rod is going to go in and your sewn line, that would be the back. So just kind of go the opposite of that. So there's my back sewn line there. So I'm just going to go opposite of that, and then I'm just going to pick 2 points, and I'm literally just going to make a loop. I'm going to stick them right at the edges. I'm just going to separate them, and I'm just going to run that stitch across there a few times, pretty much where we've already done all our sewing. So there's my 2 lines done. So you can pin these in place. Probably be advisable to pin them, and just run a stitch across there, and then pop the other one beside it and run a stitch across there. Now you can just judge this yourself, kind of if you put your 2 hands out as if you're grabbing something, you know, and wherever that naturally is, it's probably going to be about 2 feet apart, I'd say, if that makes sense. So if I put my 2 hands out, that's probably where I would want to grab on to those 2 straps. So I'll just leave that to your own judgment, and yeah, just get those sewn on. And once they're sewn on, this part of the costume is finished. There's the 2 straps sewn on there now. In case you're wondering, this circular neck, it's actually going to have a circular foam attached to it. So I don't know if we'll have the foam in stock by the time these are being made. If they are, you'll get a circle of foam to glue onto that, if you have a glue gun, of course. If you don't, somebody will do it after you've done all the sewing. So that's the last thing to happen on these costumes. Then the kids will also have a bandana that matches in with what they're doing, with their colour that we're going to put in the centre there. That's it for now for our HulaHeaders costume, bar the foam bit that might or might not be going in the middle. So I just want to say that if there's anything that is stressing you out about making this costume, please do reach out to us, either to myself or Diane or even Alison in the office. We do have our coffee morning on a Wednesday at 11 on the Zoom, and also then in the evening at 6 p.m. So if you have any issues at all, you can reach us on that, or just contact us through the website, and any questions that you have will get answered, no problem. So hopefully you have an enjoyable experience, and yeah, speak soon.